Free for Life members, welcome to another Monday 10-minute training. This is Dr. Rob Van Bergen with Pain Free for Life, and today I want to address a topic that comes up a lot in my conversations and collaborations with other doctors and clients alike. And this is pulsed electromagnetic fields or microcurrent. Which is better? Which reigns supreme? So in this video, we're going to go over the difference between the two, and I'm going to give you my verdict as to what I prefer and why. So first, what are PEMFs? So to better understand the nature of PEMFs, you first need to recognize that your entire body is composed of electromagnetic energy, okay? All 50 trillion cells in your body communicate via electromagnetic frequencies, each organ producing its own unique bioelectric magnetic field. Now, when there is an injury or a problem in your body, the communication of your cells becomes impaired. It's like clogging it up. And this hinders the healing process. PEMFs deliver helpful, health-enhancing EMFs and frequencies to all of the cells in your body, in the area where you're treating. And they address and improve impaired chemistry and thus, by extension, impaired cell function. Now, there are many different PEMF devices, but they're definitely not all created equally. We'll discuss PEMF intensity shortly, and then we're going to look at our PEMFs and the therapies that can be done with them. So one of the most active debates around PEMFs, and this is a question that comes up for me a lot, is Gauss levels. This is the measure of the intensity of the PEMF device. So how much energy is it putting out? And there are two schools of thought here. One is high Gauss, so you want to go really high energy, and one is low Gauss, so you want to go low energy. Now, this to me isn't really much of a debate. I've seen high Gauss PEMFs do amazing things, and those things come right back. So I personally feel like low Gauss is the way to go. It may take longer, but low Gauss seems to be the way to go. Now, our PEMFs are classified actually at extremely low Gauss. They operate under the 500 milligauss range. Okay, this is like around what you get from the Earth if you were like laying in the woods. By contrast, so 500 milligauss. By contrast, some PEMF devices operate at a range of upwards of 50,000 Gauss. That is a lot of energy to be putting into the body. So that aside, what do PEMFs do? Well, PEMFs reduce pain and the effects of stress on the body. They reduce chronic inflammation. They improve energy, circulation, blood and tissue oxygenation, sleep quality, blood pressure, all of these things. They've even been known to help with cholesterol levels. Now, they also are supposed to help with your balance, balancing the immune system, stimulating RNA and DNA, accelerating the repair of bone and soft tissue, relaxing muscles, reducing stress, and even working on cellular aging. But to me, one of the big advantages to PEMFs is that they penetrate every cell in the body. So if I'm using my Hache, for example, right here, and I'm holding it on my wrist, I know that all the cells in the path of the PEMF are getting saturated with that frequency. This is why we also use the Hache a lot on the brain, because you know that it's getting in deep. So you can typically cover a bigger area, especially if you're using some of the chi wave pads, right? You can lay on a pad, you can put a pad on your torso. The large chi wave pad can cover your entire torso and treat the whole area there. So there's a lot of coverage that can be done. So that's one advantage to it. So for long-term healing needs, I do really like the PEMFs. But when do we use each therapy? Because of the ease of use, the hands-free and no skin contact required, PEMFs are a very, very popular choice. And some people have gone so far as to say they're going to use the chi wave pad instead of microcurrent all the time. But there are a few things that microcurrent does that PEMFs just can't do. And really, it's the same the other way around. It's important we understand the benefits of direct microcurrent so as to make sure we're optimizing treatment, okay? So microcurrent can create a circuit between the brain and the body, making the brain and body use its own healing capability. This is the dosing and zeroing feature included in the devices. Microcurrent can clear scar tissue to a degree that I am just not convinced PEMFs can. As the electricity actually passes through the scar tissue, it can neutralize it, and the body can begin its natural healing process properly. I've not seen that level of effect with PEMFs on scars. Microcurrent can travel through nerves. So you can't stimulate the vagus nerve or other cranial nerves with PEMFs. You can hit them with frequencies, but you're not stimulating them electrically. They're not traveling through. So when we stimulate the vagus nerve on the neck, we stimulate the whole vagus nerve with microcurrent. So you're getting that full body stimulation and that travel capability. Microcurrent can manipulate and stimulate muscles. You won't see yourself realigning yourself, doing the realignment protocol or working on little wings or anything like that with a PEMF device because it can't physically contract the muscles. And microcurrent typically gets results faster than PEMFs. This could be hours versus days here. Now, in contrast, PEMFs can, as I mentioned before, saturate the entire area of tissue in healing frequencies, and this can ensure that every cell in the treatment area is encouraged to heal. They can also allow us to reach a depth that we may not have been able to reach with microcurrent unless you have a pinnacle device with the increased damping modes. So you may not be able to get that depth without something like a PEMF. They can treat through clothing, bandages, and even solid surfaces. If you ever needed to treat through a table, you could use a PEMF to do that. So they can also be left on for extended periods of time. I have not found any adverse effects to leaving PEMFs on for hours and hours on end, whereas the same cannot be said for microcurrent. If you're going to leave your microcurrent device hooked up to your body for several hours on a high frequency, you are not going to feel great after doing that. You're going to stimulate a lot of the cells, and there's going to be a lot of movement in the body. When you're dealing with PEMFs, I've seen people literally use them 24 hours a day and not have any problems because they're such a subtle energy device. So with this in mind, how do we strike a balance? So we recommend always being sure to include at least 5 to 10 minutes of microcurrent treatment before switching to PEMF each day. This way, you're establishing a solid biofeedback connection in the body. Please do not try to accomplish things like vagus nerve stimulation with PEMFs. They do not have the capacity to travel down the nerve in the same way. Now, I do love PEMFs for repair work and general anti-inflammatory work, as they can be left on for extended periods of time. So how do we treat? This is possibly the reason that you guys are here watching this video today. Now, remember, PEMFs are frequency specific. So when we talk about scalar waves, as I talked about a few weeks ago, PEMFs require frequencies, scalar does not. So because of this, the program you use with your microcurrent or with your PEMF device has to match the purpose. So if you want to heal bone, you got to use 7 Hz. If you want to enhance blood flow, you want to use vaso. Pick the modes you would normally use with microcurrent and use them with the PEMF instead. Treatment is super easy. You set the device to the mode you want, increase the power until you or the person you are treating can feel it, and then apply it near the area. There's no need for skin to electrode contact. You can just let it run for as long as you want. Now, the Chi Wave and the Via Chi are tools that are really good at healing. They convert these microcurrent frequencies into a different form, and they help you accelerate healing. And one of my favorite PEMF hacks is going on in the background here right now, and that's to use the Chi Wave PEMF pad to prepare drinking water with healing frequencies. So all it takes is a short amount of time, and the water will actually add the frequencies to its structure. This water, when used by the body, will help trigger the healing within the cells that absorb the water. I think you can see back there. So usually I run 15 to 20 minutes of a frequency I want through the Chi Wave pad into bottles of water. So in this case, I'm running alpha 7 to 12, which would essentially be a de-stressing, natural healing frequency for my body. So after that, the water is supposed to be able to maintain these frequencies for up to 2 weeks. So you can prepare a bunch of water and you can use that in that way to enhance the healing of the body. Water actually takes on these frequencies. It holds them. It has memory. And it's a very, very effective way of using the PEMF pad in a passive way while just going throughout the day. So Who is the reigning king of frequency medicine? So while I can see the merits of PEMF, and I would absolutely recommend their use, I find that most of the time, microcurrent is going to win out as treatments are shorter and often more effective. But for people who are looking for a way to enhance their therapy passively with very, very little effort, grab yourself a Chi Wave pad this holiday season and enjoy those benefits, especially the water benefits. Otherwise, aside from these subtle things that you can do with these devices, I would have to crown microcurrent the frequency medicine king. I could not live without my microcurrent device. I could live without the PEMF tools. Do I like having them? Sure. Do I recommend people get them? Absolutely. But if I had to pick one, I would pick microcurrent. And I think that makes it the frequency medicine king. So thank you for joining me today for today's 10-minute Monday training. This is Dr. Rob Van Bergen. Leave your comments and questions in the comment section below, and I will get to them and answer them. And I'll see you next week for another video. Take care.